all, this is my video regarding my second injection of tea, or Sustanon. So I've been on tea now for 4 weeks. Just a quick recap from those 4 weeks. The biggest change I saw was the increase in strength. So my biceps particularly felt like they were getting much bigger with a lot less effort, although saying that I had been working out. My second injection, the actual injection itself was more painful than the last one, as in I felt it more, but has not been anywhere near as painful as the first. After the first, I had 5 days of being incredibly sore, tender, bruised and very uncomfortable. This time it only really lasted 1 full day, and it's been far better. Spoke to the nurse, explained what had happened previously, and she gave me a tip that if you take the Sustanon, the vial of it beforehand, warm it up for a little bit before you go and have the injection, not only is it easier for her to get out of the actual vial, but it's also easier to inject, so I'm hoping that will also make sure that it's easier on my body when it goes in. Immediately after that injection, I felt really good. I had to walk home from the doctor's. It was about 2-3 miles. I'd had a long day. I'd had tea and coffee, which I don't usually drink. So I don't know whether it's a combination of those, being overtired as well as a caffeine high. But I walked along the seafront. I used the gym equipment that's been recently installed. I did 5 pull-ups with no extra effort. I felt really good, very euphoric. Just felt alive and well and capable and good. Really great feeling, actually. The changes actually in the lead up to the injection and since the injection, the second injection. If I come a bit closer, you might be able to see here. I've got spots here, I've got spots around here, spots on my neck, back, side, chest. I just seem to have got very spotty. It's not a problem because they seem to be more surface spots rather than sort of deep-rooted acne, but noticeable for me that I'm very spotty. I've always been spotty since being a teenager, and I am 35 now, so I think it's just one of those things, but it does seem to have increased with the tea. The other thing is my body fat redistribution. I feel like I'm getting narrower through the waist. I'm 5'9", started off at 10 stone when I had my first injection. Weighed myself again when I had my second injection. I was 10 stone 5, so I have put weight on. I don't think I'm eating anymore. In fact, the last week I've certainly had less, so I'm putting that down to muscle gain. Definitely the strength is there, still there. Jan and I have been doing quite a bit of gardening work, and I had to move a couple of large boards of ply, whereas before I would need to feel on top of my game to move that. I was able to do that on my own, and felt easy to do, so I'm liking that. My voice is up and down. Sometimes it can be quite nicely low, and other times, like now really, it's just sounding to me pretty normal. But other people have started to notice, so it's not just in my head, it's people telling me this. Downstairs, initially I've been quite puffy. That wore off about 2-3 weeks after my first injection, and now I'm slightly more aware of my clit, but as in it's got larger, but not, you'd be happy to see it sort of thing. The change isn't great. No changes in libido either. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is the emotional side of things, and the reason why I've got the ducks behind me, if you can see them. I rescued the ducks from the road not as part of my job. I was at work, and unfortunately 3 of their siblings got squished. So these are the 2 that I rescued. When I got them, they were probably only about a day old. So why is this linked to emotions? Because anything related to animals at the moment, I seem to cry. Jan showed me a couple of things on Facebook, and I'm an emotional wreck when it comes to animals. However, saying that, in the rest of the world, emotionally, I've been quite, well, more logical, stable, level. Again, these are what other people told me, so I've had to give a little bit of advice at times, haven't we all? But apparently I'm coming across far more logical and reasonable rather than emotional. So I just thought that was interesting, because I've heard people say previously that they don't want to lose that connection, that emotional connection, because I think being a woman and understanding how other people feel is really valuable. And at the moment, I feel like I'm very much caught between the two. I've always been a bit soppy for animals, but I'm still am. Like, that hasn't changed. It's just that I think on everything else I can be a little bit more pragmatic. So that's Gina and Georgia. We found them on St George's Day, hence the sort of George type related names. We're going to keep them till they're sort of adults, and then there's a place near us called Wildwood, which they can be sort of semi-wild there. They can still get fed, but they can come and go as they please. So they are taking all my time and attention at the moment. So that's my updates for now. I will update again with significant changes, probably a couple of weeks into being on tea for maybe like 6 weeks or so halfway between injections. Until then, take care.